A Funeral, a poem by M.J., a Warsaw ghetto poet. The coffin, a crematorium furnace. Lid, transparent, made of air. Human body turned into smoke, blown through the smokestack of history. How shall I honor your passing, walk in your funeral procession? You, homeless handful of ashes between the earth and heaven. How to cast a green garland on the grave dug high in the air, an arc of the world's four corners under the invader's fire. Your coffin, which is not, will not slide from roaring cannons, and only the column of air illumes your death with sun rays. And here is such a great silence on earth, like a trampled banner, in the morning smoke of corpses, in the anguished outcry. We are here tonight as a corrective to that silence, to honor and to commemorate those who weren't able to have funerals in the ways that they should. We'll begin our program this evening by having Ava Bales share a little of her story.
Good evening. My name is Ava Bales. In my 10th grade global history class, we have just started learning about World War II. My teacher put on the board a bunch of people standing in front of Auschwitz. What emotions does this photograph strike for all of you? My teacher said to the class. Disgusted, confused, disbelief, my classmates shared. For me, these reactions I felt for the photo were different. Scared was the emotion that came up for me. I truly felt connected to this photo. Why is that? It's because my Bubby was 5 years old in Budapest, Hungary when the Holocaust was going on. My whole family was connected to these events, and it played an impact on how I view this concept of history. Bubby was born in 1938 in Budapest, Hungary from great-grandmother Ilu. Bubby faced anti-Semitism from the moment she was born, with protests going on outside the hospital window to get rid of the Jews. Every single time I ask her about her story, it gets more and more specific. I remember one time I was in 4th grade and I asked her about her relationship to the Holocaust, and she said to me, I'm only going to tell you some parts because I don't want to scare you of some others. And then later on in 8th grade, I asked her to tell me more, and it did get more specific, and I saw the pain in her eyes. I will tell you some of her story now. In 1942, at 5 years old, Bubby was sent to an orphanage after her mom was taken to a labor camp and her dad to a concentration camp. She was with her older brother, George, where they stayed until they later escaped and lived with their neighbor until their mom came back. Their father died in the camps. I find it important to tell you all the story, not only so it never happens again, but also because I'm the only one that I know of that is my age and has a grandmother still alive that is a survivor. I find that incredible. Bubby's story needs to be shared just like the others. I hope everyone in this room can share her story so it never gets forgotten. Sadly, my Bubby won't always be here, and it'll be my job to carry on her legacy. Once I'm no longer alive, it'll be my children and their children's children to carry on her legacy. And then it'll be the Jewish people as a whole specifically to carry on her story. This is more than a terrible time in history we as a Jewish community faced. It was despicable. I wish I could say it won't ever happen again, but anti-Semitism is a real issue. That is why it is our job as a Jewish community to stay together and tell these stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Ava. We will now hear from Rachel Eisenhart, who'll tell us a little bit about Eli, Eli, the song we will sing together as our memorial candles are lit. If you are lighting a memorial candle, if you are in a survivor family, I ask that you come forward. And as we sing Eli, Eli, we will light the candles together. Rachel?
On Yom Hashoa, we remember Chana Zanesh and the 6 million other innocent lives who were taken in the name of hate. Chana was a special operations executive and poet during World War II. She was one of 37 Jewish recruits from what was then the Mandate of Palestine, parachuted by the British into Yugoslavia to aid in rescuing Jews from being sent to concentration camps. She was captured by the Nazi forces and later killed for her actions. Her poetry lives on as her legacy, especially with her poem Eli Eli, which we will now hear. As we learned in Hebrew school, Ich dachte zugen.
You, if you are able, to please rise as we recite an El Male for the 6 million.
And if you want to join me in Mourner's Kaddish, there's a Siddur in the red book in front of you on page 58. We say together, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei, be'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'vyomechon u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv vimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
You may be seated. In the spirit of our speakers, I would like to celebrate a life of a Jewish person. On Yom Hashoa, I think of my grandmother, who was a survivor of Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen, who is still to this day my greatest hero, even though she is no longer with us. And to celebrate her memory and her life, I'd like to share one of the songs that we used to sing together. So this is Rozenkes mit Manlen. for joining us this evening.